Hello, hello, hello. Good night from Maine. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good night from Maine.
Hello.
Ah, you are on. How you doing?
Wonderful. One sec. Give me a second here.
All right, but in the meantime, I will entertain those who are on the call and encourage them to make sure that they actually connect with others.
So we have, who is this, Arthur?
It is Arthur, the only Arthur Anthony.
Hello, young man. How are you?
Oh, well, I am great, and I'm trying to catch up with your youth.
We are going to have an insane call today. I look forward to it.
Awesome. Me as well.
Let's get everybody on. Let's get everybody on.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so everyone who's on the call tonight, this is Arthur. We are just pumping up, and as you heard our CEO says, it's going to be an awesome call tonight. So it's still time to actually get in touch with your downline, your sideline, your upline, anyone that you need to be on the call tonight on this training. So please get on to your phones and message and promote, because this is going to be an insane call. I want to make sure we have everyone on that call. So Carmel is already on. So Carmel, it's nice to have you on. Donna is on. Hi, Donna. And James is on from Singapore. Singapore is in the house. Paul is on, and also it's Liz. Liz, you are on. So if you guys are on, please connect with other persons, because it's going to be a hot call tonight, and it's nice to have you on. And if you are coming on, you can please put in the chat where you're coming from. We want to know where exactly you're coming from, so we can actually shout you up even louder. I know St. Lucia is in the house. Okay, guys, so in just a few minutes, we are going to be pumping the call up. As you know, this is a very, very important call that we have every Tuesday evening, and it's a privilege for us to be here with our CEO. So we want to make the best of it. So we're going to take a few minutes to make sure that our CEO is absolutely ready before we officially start the call. So guys, it's still time to get other persons on the line. Let's jump pack this call tonight. Okay, guys, if you are on the call tonight, we just really want to encourage you to get as many persons in on the call. And we want to welcome Venetia Charles Jones, just coming out from Canada. And she made a mess over there in terms of promoting and putting fire, St. Lucia fire, I would say. Wherever she goes, she spread that St. Lucian fire and she blows up the place. And when she comes back, the fire is still blazing. So bravo and kudos to you, Venetia. Paul is on the call. Hi, Paul. How you doing? And you know exactly what we're talking about. Marie, welcome to the call, Marie. And Samsung. Well, Samsung, I'm not sure who you are. It would be nice to have a name on you. But by any case, you are here. Evelyn, welcome to the call. So that's what we want, guys. Jump at the call. P-Man, where are you from? I have no idea where you're coming from, but it'd be nice that you guys put it in the chat. Tell us where you're from so we can shout you up, yell you up. Okay, let's see what we have in the chat, where you guys are coming from. Joy is in the house. Well, welcome, Joy. Congratulations, you made it. And Laurie Brooms, you should get a prize, girl, because you are always on that call from Brantford. And I really know that you are committed to these calls, and that's the kind of big commitment we want that brings success. So kudos to you. And James, we know that you are already from Singapore, so Singapore is well represented. So guys, keep packing the call, because as you know, every Tuesday night, our CEO is really allowing us to make mileage with our business, to have a mindset so that we can go to success. And there's no better place to be than right here on this call with him. Teresa, how you doing, Teresa? Welcome to the call from Alberta. I know the fire is still hot with you guys. So keep the fire burning. You know, like they say, you know, if you get excited, you feel with enthusiasm, then the world will come and watch you burn. So I know that's what you guys are doing right now in Alberta. So keep the flame burning, keep the flame going, because I know that Venetia did a lot of work with you guys, and she's telling me that you are revved up and now you are burning hot. So keep it going. Natasha, welcome to the call, Natasha. Where are you from, Natasha? It'd be nice to know where you are from. And P-Man, you are from the Middle East. What's the weather like, brother? How hot is it up here? I know the US is having some blazing sunshine, and you know, a lot of things are happening with the sun right now. So make sure you guys are away from the heat and keeping cool. And Natasha from Toronto. So Toronto is in the house, well represented. So welcome, Toronto. So we're still getting the call jam-packed. Come on, guys. There's lots of people in, and I know there's lots of people to come. Anthea, Emmanuel, our own love doctor in St. Lucia. Welcome, Anthea, to the call. And Amajit, the queen herself, she's in the house. Amajit, it's nice to have you on, and that's the kind of discipline and that's the kind of commitment that allows you to strike gold all the time. And we love that, we love that, we love that. Okay, so keep the call jam-packed, guys. Still time to message and to promote and to tell your sideline, upline, downline that remind them of the call. We have lots of galaxies in the house now. So guys, I don't know what your name is, but Galaxy 14 is here, Galaxy 510 is here, Galaxy 55 is here. It would be nice to see you guys come out from the galaxy and come down to Earth, because we need to know who you are, all right? So, hey, the famous lady is here. The woman you should never mess with, Maria Baptist. Maria Baptist is in the house, so don't ever mess with this young lady, okay? When she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it. So, Maria, I know that you are heavily committed, and it's nice to have you on the call. And that's what makes us so powerful in terms of our passion when we are committed to those calls every single night. Casnell is here. Wow, welcome to the call, Casnell. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Erin Spring, wow, the queen herself in Alberta. Welcome to the call. It's nice to have you on. And Manolo, I hope that's the right pronunciation, but you are here. Welcome to the call, Manolo. It's nice to have all of you in. Andrea Gabriel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, the call is getting jam-packed, and that's exactly what we want, because we're going to hit this right up into the pack. So, Ramin, are you ready?
We are ready to go. And yeah, so let's, if you got maybe about 30 seconds, I see people topping in and giving to say hello, but I'm ready to go.
Oh, you're ready to go. All right. Well, I'm gonna go in with official introductions. Like you really don't need any, right? Robin, because you are so great. But I'm gonna go in the official introductions, and the call is coming on. It's jump packing. So good night, good evening, good morning, everyone, wherever you are around the world. I want to welcome you to our Tuesday night forensic call, and we are there with the one and only. Ramin, I'm not putting my camera on because you would see nothing. I am in total darkness, pitch darkness in my vehicle, and we are always on the road, so I don't want to put the camera on because it's just going to be pitch black.
We see you. We see you. We see the flawless shine.
Oh my God. But listen, Ramin, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you about this young man. Well, before I say that, well, you guys know who's on the call. I'm Arthur from St. Lucia, the beautiful, romantic, scenic island in the Caribbean, 238 square miles, 170,000 people. And I am a lifestyle director too with Opulence Global. But I'm here with the king himself, the man with the golden hat, the lion hat, and any type of hat you want to put for him, he can wear that. In 2013, when I came into the business, I was so excited. And I think I was taking this so serious, I was losing my mind, Ramin. And I had to take a trip to find out who is this giant behind this business. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the CEO, the founder. He is the guy who is the engineer behind the company that we love so much. And I think it's the best test, if that's a word, company in the world. And I really, really want to thank you, Ramin, for introducing us to this company, taking the vision from God himself, and deciding over coffee never to turn your back on that vision, because you've seen what's happened in the industry. You have been a foot soldier yourself. Is it 27 years? 27 years in the industry? Is it 30?
1990.
Yeah. Yes, and you have been on the ball, you have made millions, and you have helped others to make millions, and you give enough people what they want, and you get what you need. And by so doing, you are right here with us, trying to show us the way. I really want to say, when I met you in 2013, you rocked my world, because I was hoping to come back and tell my people, this is not true, this money is a fake. It's not for real, and let's get our money out. But I came back and I was fully mesmerized. I was transformed. I couldn't stop talking about it, and I've been in it today together with Venetia, still hitting the ground running. So welcome, congratulations, and I introduce you to our CEO and founder, Mr. Ramin Mazgado.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you, you may very well, Arthur, be the best host we've ever had. I mean, man, that energy. I mean, you couldn't help it. Hanging on with Venetia that long, you have no choice but to be a fireball, right? All right. You know what? Interesting.
I won't comment.
All right. Interesting topic here. I was in Ottawa. And when you're so in tune with your world, you look like you notice things. Waiting in the showroom for my Range Rover to get ready. And what's on the TV? There's a TV there. There's a top business stories of the day. So I'm standing there waiting for them to get my car ready, which they eventually did not. So I got a loaner. But so I'm standing there on the big TV. If you've been to the Forensic Networker Nation, you should be on there, or the Forensic Networker Instagram. You will have seen this already. If you can picture it, I'll put it up there. And here's the top business stories of the day. RBC, this is going to Royal Bank of Canada. RBC, average baby boomer, $275,000 shy of retirement goal. Wow, did you get that? I don't think you got that. You know who RBC is talking about? You. That's who RBC is talking about, you. And so I was just staring at this because I've seen this for about 30 years. These stories don't change. These stats don't change. It gets worse if you change, because it's getting worse every decade. Inflation, it gets worse and worse. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. I just look at that and just remind me of the question people ask me all the time. What keeps you motivated to keep doing this, keep building and building and building? 5 multi-million-dollar businesses in MLM, 5 times. What keeps you motivated? Well, I put the picture up on my Forensic Networker Nation on Facebook. It's also on Forensic Networker Instagram. Go, because guess what? That's us. See, this is a reality. Most people are not paying attention to the realities of their life. They're not paying attention to where they're headed. So I know this. I'm so in tune with my world environment and direction. So I keep on when. I know just because I stop, inflation doesn't stop. Just because I stop, world doesn't stop. I am part of this world, and the world is getting tougher and tougher and tougher because of one word: inflation. See, we're all affected by it. There's nothing we can do about it, including the government. It's like breathing. It's there. And so there's nothing, you can't stop inflation. So, but there's things you can do about it to try to hedge against it. There's nothing you can do. So I keep building because to me, MLM is the last bastion of the free enterprise. It is the very last chance for the average person to hit a financial home run. It's the last hedge against a depleting asset we call jobs. So we keep hearing about how precious metals and precious stones is hedged against currency, fiat currency or paper currency, money, because money keeps losing its value, right? So they say you should be, every investor in the world will tell you, you should go in precious metals and precious stones because that becomes hedged against money. What that means is that money will keep losing its value. That's because of inflation. You need something that goes up in value so you can stay balanced. So they say go in things that never lose their value, like gold and silver and precious. So you must have both. One hedge the other. So I wrote in my book, The Forensic Networker, much like how precious metals are hedged against money, a losing asset and gaining asset, then MLM, another gaining asset, is a hedge against another losing asset, which is called jobs. Jobs, losing asset. So let me explain to you that these are facts. If you know anything about economics, these are facts I'm sharing with you. If you don't know, you know. In Canada, and it's true around the world, in Canada. Now, Canada, I'm in a very good place to talk about this because we're supposed to be the benchmark of the world. Like, this is supposed to be a great economy here. We're supposed to have the best. Canadians are supposed to have the most disposable income in the world. So if this is true with Canada, I can imagine other parts of the world. So in Canada, okay, I just rate you what RBC said. An average baby boomer is $275,000 short of their retirement goal. Now, this probably was 200, and next 5 years it'll be like 300. So it keeps getting worse and worse. It doesn't get better. It keeps getting worse, worse, and worse. So I'm out motivated because average person, they only have a few options. And to me, 90% of them only have one option, which is direct sales and MLM. So I think people do know this because this method of distribution is the fastest growing method of distribution in the last 50 years. This is not a new thing. We're growing. The industry is growing like crazy because people understand they got to do the stuff I'm going to talk about next. So let me go change course a little bit and we'll come back to what I'm about to say afterwards. Because the topic of today is, how do you keep your distributors active and focused? I think this is, well, they're all going to tie in together, right? We talk about economy, why people do this, but what I want to talk about today is something you all be very much interested in. That is, how do you keep your people motivated and inspired and focused and renewed and on smart buy and on auto ship and to buy products and to sell products? How do you do that so they won't come in and quit? See, I was doing a training for my new staff here. And I love we got a new title for our staff here. Who I'm going to call you? It's no longer CSR, Customer Service Representative. It is PBS, Partner Benefits Specialist, because that's what we do. We give you a shop. There's lots of benefits there. There's a Partner Benefits Specialist. Partner Benefits Specialist. So you're going to get PBS, give you a call. These are the specialists that will tell you the benefits of your membership, of your shop. You are our partner. So How do you keep it distributed? Because at the end of the day, there are three major stats in important MLM. One of them is retention. The other one is the distributor activity ratio. The third one I created is called ED ratio, earning per distributor ratio. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the retention, and we're going to talk about the distributor activity ratio. Now, I know we got some countries here. I better slow down on my speech because there is a language barrier. So today we're going to talk about two of the three major stats, which is retention. The other one is the distributor activity ratio. In other words, people who are buying and selling on a regular basis. So what's the best way to keep your people active and focused? Well, the very first thing should be very easy, which many people fail, and I just can't understand why. And of course, they make excuses. Well, I don't have the time, but it really doesn't take a lot of time. Very first thing you need to do, keep your distributors, your team focused and active is communication. Keep in touch with them. And understand some of you have many, many, many people in your team. And there's many chat groups. Truth is, you can do one message, generic message, and put it on all these different chat groups. It doesn't take a lot of time. But when it comes to your generation number one, you want to make sure that every day you're calling a couple of people and having a nice conversation to inspire them. Inspire them. That also builds like and trust. So your generation one, remember, the closest to you, they're following you. So you do the generation one, and then you also do the same with all the sparks, doesn't matter where they are in your organization. And don't tell me there's not that many, all right? Because you know who the sparks are, they're letting you know what's happening here in UK, you know what's going on happening in Nigeria, you know what's going on in St. Lucia. So you know where those sparks are. If you're paying any attention, you know, and you want to make sure you build that like and trust. Trust me on this thing. As we build this MLM business, we go through the peaks and valleys like every other form of business. And people, sometimes it takes them a while to make money or solid money. So, but they will stay with you if you have like and trust with them. If you don't, then move on to the next pitch. Because every MLM looks good up front. There's a good pitch, right? So people will stay with you. Remember, they buy you first if you have like and trust. So what keeps them through the peaks and valleys is if they believe and trust you, like and trust. And if you have like and trust, they'll stick with you. Not because they're making money. Maybe they like the products, fine, but they'll stick with you because they believe you can bring them to a better place. How do you do that? How do you do that? You do that with communication. So don't be lazy with language, as Jim Rohn says. Like and trust, everything falls after that. If you don't have like and trust, people will quit, move on to the next pitch. They may even want to join the company under someone else. So how do you keep your people active? The very first thing is communication. The second thing is proper direction. When somebody says to you, and you're going to get this, if you're building an MLM empire, you're going to have people that are going to quit. We know the industry retention is 10%. That's DSA average. DSA average retention is 10%. Now, we're sitting much higher, but still, we lose a lot of people too. And there are reasons for that, and I'm here to tell you how I built 5 multi-million-dollar businesses, so you better be taking lots of notes. This is important. The very first thing you want to ask the people that come in, doesn't matter if you're generation one or somebody in your team, when you meet people, when somebody says, I just joined your team, I just joined this company, I just launched my business, you ask them to write down the promise list. You want them to sit down, to write down what's important to them for 2 reasons. Number one, they don't even know what's important to them. They're excited. That's what they're doing this. We want to be excited about their potential, excited about what they want to get out of this. They should be excited about opulence. They should be excited about their future, and opulence is the vehicle. No one actually sits down to write a goal list or promise list. If there's nothing to shoot for, it's very easy to quit. There is no destination. Where's the journey? If there's no destination, where is the journey? You stop moving. If you go from home to work, you only get to work because there was a destination. If you got into a car, start driving at some point and you stop and you're nowhere, there was no destination. You come into a business. First thing you want is a destination. So at least you know where you are going. And that destination in Forensic Networker, we call it the promise list. So first thing is you want to start communication. Second thing is, in the beginning, remember they're excited right now, you want that promise list for two reasons. One is they need to know where they're shooting for. Two, you want that information for later on. And that brings me to number 3. First, people say, well, I don't order any more products, right? That's the first thing they would do, people who want to quit, right? I don't want to order any more products, so they start their auto ship in other companies or smart buy in our company. So it's important that you communicate properly with them. So here's what I would say. This is what we train our people, and our people save tons of people for you every day. You guys don't even know. So question would be, well, let me ask you, Henry, when you launched with Opulence Global, when you launched with your company, we have people here that may not be from our company. So when you launched your Opulence or your MLM business, were you interested in making some retail profit, or were you looking for a much bigger picture, the tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars that can be made in residual income? What was it that excited you? Was it to make some retail profit? Or was it you want to make a lot of money and quit your job and become wealthy like some other millionaires? Which one is it? No, most people would say, vast majority would say, well, of course, I was hoping that I could make a lot of money. Okay. Well, how are you going to do that? Because in order for you to even tap into the residual aspect, that you must buy and sell $150 a month or less in products every single month. You either use it or you sell it. So, because what's happening is that a lot of people who don't even subscribe for this Smart Buy system, we find that 9 out of 10 didn't even know about it. They have no clue. And the people who come, the people who are actually there, and if they call to cancel, and we tell them, well, were you interested in residual? Well, of course. Well, how are you going to do that? Oh, I had no idea. They have no clue. They have no clue that what are the purpose, the functions of the Smart Buy system. First and foremost, you should be using the product. That's the base foundation of this business. How are you going to promote something you don't even know what it is? In our business, that's not, the 150 is not even enough for personal use, the stuff that we have. But the second part of that is, well, how do you launch a business and then you don't get your Smart Buy and then you can't even make a residual income? Once we explain that, it's such a simple explanation. Because, oh, okay. We save so many people just by explaining that you need your Smart Buy, because that is your mechanism to collect CV from people in your team that have nothing to do with you. So why should you get commissions on people in your team who you did not place if you're not even active or using the product? So when you tell people, what is it that you wanted? Why did you launch? So the question in this particular case, this is what we call the monthly activity ratio, right? This is one of the stats I was talking about DSA, where the MLM in general, they have a 6% activity ratio or auto ship ratio according to the DSA averages. So 94% get off. Well, that's silly to me. If you got in to this type of business. And the only way for you to get a residual income is to consume or buy or sell $150 for the product, and you don't do that. But why did you get in to begin with? It's like saying, it's like buying a car and then don't want to buy any gas. Well, the car is not going to move. You have a car sitting there, we're not going to go anywhere with it because there's no gas in it. So when you launch an MLM business and you don't get on your auto ship, on all your smart buy system, well, you have no access into the residual income. You can buy and sell product and make retail profit and wholesale profit, all that stuff. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you tell me you want residual income and you want to make money on other people in your team, by the way, people you did not even place there, other people brought them in, which you can make money on. So if you want to make money on all that business and you're not even using the product, but we see, it's such an easy conversation when you talk to them, and we save a ton of people here every single day just by explaining some basic stuff. And here's another one. Of course, first they get off the smart buy, or many of them, they're not even on it. So when we call them, we get people that sometimes we call, we don't have a lot of time. So you have to do those calls, but we try to get some of these calls in. And we talk to people, how come you're not on your monthly smart buy? They're like I would have to say 8 out of 10. They're like, what is that? They have no clue what that is. Somebody got them in the system. But on the night they launched, they neglected to tell them, by the way, you're gonna need gas for this vehicle. I mean, would you buy a car with knowing, like if you know that you're not gonna buy gas for it, like why would you buy a car? You buy a car knowing you have to buy gas in order to move with it, and you launch an MLM business, whether it's this one or another one, you know you must have an activity in order to get residual income. And we got to explain that to people the first night. I can tell you the first night they're very excited and they don't care about that. But if you want to tell them afterwards, that becomes more of a problem. So you want to tell them up front, the first night they're excited, they don't care about this monthly buy and sell stuff, but they will care if they don't know, and afterwards it becomes like an additional fee because they didn't know up front. So number one is that, if they're not active, if they're not getting good support from the upline, first thing they want, let's assume they're even on the smart buy, first thing they want to do is cancel that. They want to get off of it. So we have this conversation. Well, did you want to make wholesale profit only, or did you want residual? If you want residual, then you cannot get off of that. How are you going to, that's your fuel for this Opulence compensation plan. And people understand that. And by the way, our conversations are very positive. I'm going to get to some of the stuff we get in a minute, but it's very, very positive conversation. The second thing they would do, if you don't get this conversation going, that they want to cancel. They don't want to renew, right? Now, our systems at 6 o'clock in the morning, the merchant systems are working, right? We got like 3 systems that are working. And by the time our staff come in, we see the ones that didn't go through, it's bounced or credit card was expired or something, right? So then our people get to work. Our PBS get to work, partners, benefits specialists, they get to work, and they start contacting these people that your order didn't go through or your renewal didn't go through and so forth. Let's assume somebody says, and I take this very, very seriously. I've been doing this for 30 years. I believe in this industry so much. This is the last chance for the average person. People come to us for a reason. They think this is not a place of fun. People come to MLM. They run to us. They come to us for a reason. Something wasn't perfect in their life. That's why they come here. They want more money, less stress. They hate their job. They want to send their kids to Harvard. There is a reason why people come to MLM. It's not because they have nothing to do. So we want that promised list to know what those reasons are. And if I'm telling you, if we fail them as uplines, they'll quit. Well, you know where they're going to end up? Exactly where they were before they got here. And that wasn't that great. That's why they got here. They came here because where they were was not that great. They came for help. They wanted to be here. And it's our job to have these type of locker room conversations to them and tell them about them. So somebody says, I don't want to renew. I want to cancel my membership. Earlier, I told you, ask for a promise list, right? Ask for a promise list. And this is what I teach my people here what to do. We don't have the promise list, but we ask this question. When somebody says, I don't want to renew, you should be going to your back office, see who did not renew. It's a daily thing. So it's not a lot of calls because every day someone's renewal comes up, right? And then you want to ask them a question. Remember, first, if they want to get off their smart buy, what was the question that we asked? I want you to write down the question here. If somebody wants to cancel their smart buy auto ship, what's the question we're going to ask? The question we're going to ask is, I want you to write it here for me. The question is, did you want to make a wholesale profit only? Is that what you were interested in? Or do you actually want residual income? See, that's the question. And they go, of course I want to get rich. But in that case, you must use smart buy, right? So that they understand why they need to do it. That's the question to ask. It's based on what they want, not what you are asking them to do. We're not saying buy products so I can make more commission. You're asking them, why was it that you launched your MLM business? Well, I want to make more residual income. I want to make more money. Great. Did you want to wholesale profit? Or no, I want to make residual. I want to be like Renee's and Reza's and Sherry's. Okay, well, you can't do that by not being on your smart buy. You got to buy and sell your $150 a month. So you can benefit from people in your team that you have nothing to do with. I mean, it's a good deal, right? That's the question when they want to get off their smart buy. The second question is when they want to cancel the membership, the mall, or they don't want to renew. Then again, the question comes up. You have to ask the question. Let me ask you, this is where the promise list is important. I've taught my people here because we don't have the promise list, so we ask this question. Let me ask you something, Vern. What was the reason? I appreciate you want to cancel your membership, but let me ask you a question. What was the reason that you launched your Opulence global business to begin with? What was the reason? Now, why did you get into MLM, right? Why did you start the business? You've been in the business a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. So 5 years ago when you launched, when you launched, what was the reason you launched? Is it because of more money? Jog the memory, right? Was it because you wanted more money? You wanted to get product at wholesale? What was the reason? You hate your job? Well, they'll say, well, I want to make more money. I was hoping I could make more money and send my kids to Harvard, more time with family, whatever those reasons are. They'll tell you because everyone has a reason. Most of them will tell you, well, I wanted to hopefully make more money so I can maybe quit my job. Great. So let me ask you this, Vern. Your reason for getting into Opulence Global, for launching your mall or your shop, was to quit your job. Let me ask you something, Vern. Did you find another way to do that? You launched because you wanted to quit your job. You still got the job, right? Yeah. So did you find another way? Is that why you want to cancel because you found another way? You know what the question is most of the time? No. They didn't find another way. They did not find another way. They're not active. They never got started. So they get a bill and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this anyway, so I'm just going to cancel. Bailing out on their dreams. So the question is, when you ask those questions, that opens up this conversation. Sometimes they say, you know, I'm quitting because my upline quit. Because that's, believe it or not, 8, 9 out of 10 people who actually want to not renew. Oh, well, my upline's not around anymore. So I don't know. They're lost. They're just lost. That's what it is. They're lost. My question then would be, let me ask you something, Vern. Did you join this business because of your upline, his reasons, or did you do it because of your family and yourself? Your dreams, things that you wanted, or is it you just did to make him happy? Well, why did you launch your shop? Is it to make him happy, your upline, or because you actually had some dreams and targets of your own? No, of course I had my dream and targets of my own. It's okay. It doesn't really matter what your upline is. But we're here. We're here. I'm here. Doesn't matter who sponsors. I'm here. Let's get you started. Then sometimes, and again, a lot of the times they're excited, you're building like and trust, and they're there with you. Sometimes that runs into a situation and says, you know what? I tried, okay, but I never made any money, and I just didn't make any money. So see, this is one comment that is not 99%, it's 100% not valid. 100% not valid. So I'm going to show you how to deal with that. When you ask someone, did you find another way to reach your target? Remember, quitting your job or whatever it is. They say, no, I haven't. Then the question that you want to say is, then why quit? You came to us because you had some targets, things, because when you quit, Vern, you're going back a year when you launched. And it wasn't that great. That's why you came to us. So you're going back to that stage again. Yeah, but I'm not making any money. All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. Why you did not get started. Look what I'm saying. We're going to get to why you didn't get started. No, I did. I talked to people. We'll get to that in a minute. But we know one thing. If you quit today, you're going back to where you were. And obviously, you came to us for a reason. That wasn't perfect. Something was missing. That's why you came. Yeah, but you know what? I tried, but it didn't work. Okay, let's look at that now. Let's look at that. There are 3 things I'm going to ask you to send me, Vern, okay? Can you do that for me? Number 1, I want you to send me your promise list. They're like, what? Promise what? Right? They don't have one. They don't have one, right? Foundation, gone to begin with. Second thing I want to send me is, tell me, how big is your candidate list? Candidate list? What's a candidate list? You know, the goal, the list of people that you had to make in order to start. Well, I never made a list. Oh, okay. X number 2. And number 3. Can you show me your MO box? Oh, what's MO box? Oh, your calendar. Show me how many appointments you do every week. I don't keep track of it. I just kind of talk to people. You see, guys, they never got started. They never got started. That's a look. I see why now, Vern, that you didn't make any money. The truth is, Vern, you never got started. So that's the good news. You actually never got started. So why don't we get to start this job properly? Because in order to get a start in this business, it's like every other business, right? You're going to cook a soup, right? You need pots. You need some tools, you need some vegetables, you need ingredients. You need some ingredients to get started, right? You just can't wing things. You're going to come up with something ridiculous. You know you need a list of ingredients, you need some tools, you need some knowledge to make the soup. If you just were winging it with no knowledge, no tools, no ingredients, what do you come up with? So the good news is, Vern, you never actually got started. But why don't we just get you started? Very first thing we got to do is put together some targets for you. See, the reason why I say this is that I want them to know it's not because they didn't make any money and they actually tried. We want them to know that you actually never got started. And the basis of getting started is you need a promise list, you need a candidate list, and you need to start doing appointments. Show me your calendar. We have the forensic system here, the best in the world, the MO box. If they don't have that, they could try to do calendar, but MO is the best to go if you want long term. But show me your calendar. How many appointments do you do on a regular basis, on a weekly basis? They're not doing that. So why don't we just get you started properly? Just get you started and then assess the next year. How do you expect to make money if you don't get started? Talking to people is not getting started. If you went to your job and all you're doing was talking to people, not doing your job, do you get paid? You would even have a job, right? This is basic stuff that we need to get people to readjust themselves. And yeah, but my upline never told me that. My upline never told me any of this stuff. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they failed you, Vern. I'm sorry that your upline failed you. But the good news is we can get you started now. So it doesn't matter if you've been here a year or 5 years. You've not started. You have not started. Let's get you started now. And those are 3 basic things that you need before. So I don't care how long you've been in this business. If you've not had those 3 basic things, at best, you're choppy. At best, like, you're spotty, doing things and not doing things. And momentum is constant. Momentum is not choppy. Momentum is constant. And you cannot have constant momentum unless you have these 3 things. So you can save pretty much anybody by asking those questions. I have a complaint committee. I shared a message. Actually, Henry is on that complaint committee. Henry, why don't you share with us, what was it I shared on the complaint committee? If you want to, if not, just that's fine. I shared a very unbelievable stat. I was even shocked. We've been in business 13 years. I'm not sure if, Henry, you've seen that message, but we have, we're always hiring more people, and we hired some people, and we got a couple of new incredible PBS partner benefit specialists here. One of them work for American Express, the other work for a pharmaceutical company. Very, very, very professional people. So I take them through my forensic system. So then I brought him here yesterday, and I was giving him some training, and I asked him, show me your forensic. And I love forensic because it's tracking. I get to see what they're up to. So I asked him a question. I said, from the 150s, that people who are the 150 Smart Buy on the renewals, I asked both of them, the new people that were here, I said, how many of them, here's the good news and the bad news. So what percentage, once you talk to them, will actually, because maybe they have a credit card on file, maybe bounce, maybe they want to cancel, how many of them actually stay on and complete their transaction, the 150s? You know what the number was? I was absolutely shocked. 90+% say yes. 90+. Then I asked even more shocking question, renewal. What percentage renew after you get a hold of them? You know what the answer was? Between both of them, 100%. I mean, you get 2 bottles, it's easy to sell. That's the good news. No, we don't have the stats for 75, 35. 35 is a little bit tougher. But here's the bad news. The percentage of people we actually get a hold of is 10% of the pool. Remember, the credit cards charge everybody, and the ones that doesn't go through, those are the ones we call, right? But we only get a hold of 10% because we're such a global business, time zones are different. But here's the thing, we have a big enough pool of tests that we're doing now that you must assume, if we got a 90+% on the 150s because we talked to them and asked these questions, that if you got a hold of the other 90%, you'll get the same result. It's big enough pool. You must assume if you got a 100% renewal ratio when we talk to them, that when you get a hold of the other 90%, you'll have the same result. Now, we have restrictions here because we finish at 6 o'clock and around the world, the time zones don't work out. But you don't have that. You don't have that. You don't have time restraint. You could be up at 2 in the morning making calls and noon somewhere else. You can make those calls of people who don't renew and people who don't get still on the Smart Buy. These are the type of conversation you're going to have. This is insane. I was so encouraged by it. Now we have a Manila office. Now we're getting them trained so we can maybe tap to some more other time zones. But really, you should be doing this. You should be, let's get your people started. let's get your people started. Because the vast majority, they have not started. And because they've not started, at some point, they may want to get off their smart buy. They may want to get off their renewal. And this brings me to point number 1, the RBC top news of the day, where an average baby boomer is short $275,000 of the retirement goals. Think about that. That's you. That's us. That's everybody. That's everybody. You just don't know that's where you're headed. RBC is telling you, and just take a look around. People who are retired, what type of life are they having? They are devastated. You go to Walmart, who's at the door? 75, 80-year-olds at the door checking bags. You ask them a question, which I have many times. Why are you working at this age? They say, because the retirement pension is just not enough. RBC is telling you that now. This stuff is not new. It's been like for 30 years. So we have these people who come in and try to avoid what RBC is talking about. And then they kind of get lost because the upline didn't do their job. And then they get off the smart buy and then they don't renew and they go back to where they were. And at 65, they're checking bags at Walmart. This is because inflation is not something we can do anything with. So somebody says, how do I avoid this situation? Let me bring out the reality for you. And people say, Ramin, how do you get motivated to keep building empires? MLM 5 times. I've did it 5 times, 30 years. I'm here now, 9 o'clock. My son is waiting for me, but I'm here now with you. I'm motivated because every single one of us, every one of you, and every single one of us, 7 billion people, every one of us deal with this reality. One word, inflation. What inflation means is that your money is losing its value. What inflation means is that every year you get poorer and poorer and poorer unless the 3 things I'm going to talk about now. So all of us, because inflation, that means your money buys you less and less every year. Everybody faces 3 choices every week, every month, every year. 3 choices. Number 1, since your money is worth less now than it was last year, now you have to borrow to keep the same lifestyle you had last year. Because your money is buying less. Your salary is buying less of the goods that you needed last year. So you have to borrow to keep the lifestyle you had last year. Why? Because I run a corporation in Canada, and Canada is a pretty strong country. And our average corporate wage increase in Canada is 2.5% a year. So, I mean, the stats are out there. It's the same everywhere in the world. 2.5% raise, 2%, 3% is where employees get raised. Doesn't get any more than that. Yet, your vegetable last year went up by 11%. Your gas went up by 20%. Your meat went up by 18%. Everything goes up by 10, 12%, and yet your salary went up by 2.5%. So how do you maintain the same type of lifestyle when everything goes up by 5, 6, 10, 12%, and your check only went up by 2.5%? So you can't. So you have 3 choices. 1, you borrow. We're very good at that. Credit card, right? But everything. You go to the restaurant, gas, vacation, use a credit card, right? We borrow to maintain our lifestyle until you can't borrow anymore. Then you see the stat. Canada, talk about Canada because I'm here. Although this is supposed to be the benchmark of the world, we have every year we have a new household debt record, which leads into every year brand new record for personal bankruptcies. Why? They borrowed till they could not borrow anymore. They could not pay the payments, and boom, bankruptcy. Option 1, keep borrowing till you can't anymore. That's everybody, because of inflation, everybody, all of you, and me, everybody. 2, few are willing to reduce their lifestyle every year because they don't want to borrow. So, they don't have to borrow, but they live less and less and less every year. I know some people, their cars are 15 years old, and you can see that they're very, very much, I'm not borrowing, and but every year, they're declining a little bit more. That's one, very few are willing to do that, very few. So one, you borrow till you can't anymore. Two, you reduce your lifestyle every year because your raise doesn't match the inflation. And three is the best option. You find another revenue stream because you can't get another job. You already have a job. You got 2 jobs in the house. So you find another revenue stream. For most people, MLM is that platform. I mean, some people start a traditional business or whatever, but for most people, MLM is the easiest one to do. So they come to us with hope that they can maintain their lifestyle, maybe even increase their lifestyle. They come in and we don't give them the information properly, and they get off the smart buy and they don't renew, and they're back where they were before they came to us. So when somebody says, I don't want to renew, I would ask the question, Arthur, didn't you say that you wanted to pay off the mortgage faster? Because I have the promise list, right? You got to ask for the promise list. Didn't you say you wanted to send your daughter to university in Finland? So did you find another way of doing that? Did you find another way? No, I didn't. So from your lifestyle, maybe somebody else would say, do you find your lifestyle gets household debt like the rest of Canadians are getting higher and higher every year, or you're reducing? Because that's just a fact, right? Since there's 3 options, let me ask you, Arthur, which one is it for you? Which is you like to reduce your lifestyle because of inflation is a reality in all our lives? Do you want to keep borrowing because certainly the raise doesn't match the inflation? Or is it the third choice? Let's find another revenue stream. I think you had it right. You came to us because you don't want to borrow. You don't want to reduce your lifestyle, nor should you. Nobody wants to do that. But we all came to this industry was a third option because now we can increase our revenue. So did you want to go back to the first 2 options? Is that why you're quitting? No, I don't want to reduce my lifestyle. And yeah, it's tough. I don't want to borrow more. But that's what we have. We got 3 options. We borrow, we reduce our lifestyle, or we find a revenue stream. And that's where you came to us. So let's get you started. Why did you make any money? Yeah, because you never got started. Show me your calendar. Show me your candidate list. Show me your promise list. I didn't do any of that. My upline didn't tell me, well, I'm sorry he failed you. So let's get you started. So those are the facts of life. You got 3 choices. All of us have 3 choices. And when you have, when we're in MLM business, we're in education business. I'm just so trained by this. I'm sitting in a Range Rover service department, and I see many people saw that picture, the baby boomers, or maybe Range Rover service department is not exactly the right crowd. Maybe they're not worried about that particular, if they can afford a $200,000 truck, maybe they're not that concerned. But most people look at the top business news and they don't even catch on to that. I stared at it. I said, you know what? I saw that 30 years ago. I've seen it 20 years ago. I saw it 10 years ago. I see it now. I see what's happening at Walmart at the door. I see the record bankruptcies, record household debt. People are on a direct collision with that train that's coming at them called bankruptcy for most people. I mean, there's only 3 options. Reduce your lifestyle, keep borrowing till you can't, or add another revenue stream. And most people understand that they need to add a revenue stream. So even in MLM, they get in and then they don't do the right things and they jump to the next MLM. They take the next pitch and the next pitch and the next pitch. And they think it's the pitch. It's not the vehicle. At the end of the day, you have to understand some basic principles of what makes a success in MLM. So forensic networkers, you want to always educate. That's what we do these calls. So we can give you some tools of how to be a good leader. And a good leader in MLM, is the one that understands the first question, why MLM? And once you understand the why MLM is so key and important, because outside MLM, for vast majority of people, there's only two other options. Reduce your lifestyle, keep borrowing till you can't. And once you understand that the realities, the direction of future, you'll be motivated like me 30 years from now. And it doesn't matter how many millions you have, you'll be motivated like me to get as many people to understand the stuff, to understand where they're headed. And you're going to keep on building it. And once we understand this stuff, we'll be able to inspire others to do what I call in forensic: reset, refresh, let's get going. Let's get you started. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. Maybe you guys want to give me your thoughts, your experiences. I want to learn from you, and we can go from there. So this is how you keep your people active. This is how you keep them in, renewed, and on Smart Buy. I gave you some tools about that. And it really always starts with them. It's not about you get on stay on Smart Buy so I can get a commission. No, it's about them. If they don't stay on the Smart Buy, don't buy and sell, they really can't tap into the big part of the compliant, right? Of course, they're not using the product either. And then second, if they don't renew, they go back to where they were before they came to us. And always that wasn't perfect. That's where they came to us. And if we don't educate them, we failed them. So the call today was about how do you keep your people active and focused. All right. So who is a host? Arthur.
Hey, Ramin, this is, I don't know what to say because this call have me in goosebumps because I'm now examining myself and asking myself, what did I tell my candidates when they joined? Did I tell them exactly what you said? Because a lot of persons right now are commenting and they're saying they are actually hearing this for the first time. Some are saying they feel like they are starting back all over again. They have not even started. And it's absolutely true. When I look at the dropout rate of those persons who I have brought in my team, the numbers are crazy, and it simply means that what you have said here tonight is right on target. I can't say it enough. It's just right on target. So, Ramin, I just really want to thank you because you are opening our eyes to what we should have known from day one. Mm-hmm. And if we are not, haven't got started, now we should get started. And we need to apologize because I think when we bring persons into this business, we have a pledge that we take and we need to know what it means. And we need to honor that pledge, and we need to be able to be an example to the pledge and to the persons we bring in. So your information tonight, I mean, it's basic, it's simple, but it is something I think we have forgotten along the way.
Perfect.
And we have lots of comments coming in, Ramin, and persons are just really loving. So let me just read a few of them here. They are really, really loving what you are doing here tonight. And
there's a question here that I think somebody has, that if I don't purchase 150, does that mean I'm not eligible for residual income without subscribing to Smart Buy? That is the whole concept of MLM, because if everybody got paid without doing anything, then there's no money left for people who are doing something, right? So it's like you have a store and you don't pay the rent, then soon you're not going to have a store. So I got to understand the whole idea of MLM is everybody doing a little bit. It's not about one person doing a lot. It's about everybody doing a little bit. If people were to do that little bit, which is the 150 a month, well, who do we pay then? Then who do we pay? Because if no one's doing anything, then how do we pay people? Then how do we distinguish people who are paying something and people who are doing their work, or they're buying and selling and contributing? How do we distinguish them from other people who are not doing anything, who have not done anything, who don't have a promise list, don't have a candidates list, they haven't bought anything, sold anything? So, and the whole concept of business, whether it's MLM or franchising or any form of business, is if you work for a real estate company, right? Well, if you don't sell, do you get paid? No, you don't get paid, right? You have to sell. If you work for an insurance company, anything, car companies, you have to do something. You have to buy or sell, generate value in order for you to be able to generate income. In MLM, remember, you can buy and sell products and you don't need to, and whenever you do, that's fine. You can make money. If you do once every 6 months, no problem. You can sell once a year, no problem. When you make those sales, you make the retail profit or wholesale profit. However, if you want to make residual income, that means money that comes from other people's sales, not yours, then you must be actively promoting the product and the business. Now, 150 is bare minimum. I mean, it's not even enough for you to consume your captive and your and your toothpaste and your FOL and your fashion. So it's nothing. But if you're not doing that, then no, you're not qualified to tap into the residual side, right? You can still make retail profit. You can still make wholesale profit. There are other things you can tap into, but not the residual income. I hope that we have that covered. If you have anything to add to that, Arthur, or anyone else, by all means, you're welcome to do that.
Well, Robin, for the record, I know it may be silly, but I think somebody wants to know what are baby boomers.
Oh, those are the folks, back in between 1948, they were born between 1948 and 1965. So it's about, at that time, there was this big boom of population, so they call them baby boomers. I guess our parents had nothing better to do. So yeah, it's like, in America alone, there's like 68 million people were created. So baby boomers is this big demographics that was born over the last 30 or 40 years. And now, 50 or 60 years, now they're getting closer to retirement. So there is a major concern. Remember, when these people were born, I just barely missed the boomers. I'm lived after that. But when these people were born, the inflation wasn't as bad as it is right now. It was much better times than it is right now. They were told to work for 40 years, 40 hours, and we retire. See, nobody told them about the inflation. Now, those people coming close to retirement, they're in the 60s now, high 50s and 60s, they're getting close to retirement. And guess what? According to RBC, TD had the same stat last year. We had it on a PowerPoint that they're short $275,000 for proper retirement. So where do you think these folks are going to end up? Well, some they're going to have to sell their homes. They got these things called reverse mortgage, where you basically take money out of home because you can't do it otherwise. Or you have to find a revenue stream. Some people come to MLM. Some people go to Walmart and check bags at the door. Some people find something else to do. That's who baby boomers are, people who are getting closer to retirement. And vast majority of them realize that there is no pension, and pension is a joke. And now they're having a difficult time. What I'm telling you is that these stats are not new. It's been going on for a long time. If we paid attention 20 years ago and 30 years ago and 40 years ago, these boomers would not be in this position. But the boomers were lied to. They were told, do the 40 years for 40 hours a week and you'll be fine. And that's not the case. But we know better now, right? So you got three choices, right? Inflation, I'm the one in forensic. I've been talking about this for 10 years. So you got three choices. If you want to avoid that, reduce your lifestyle, or keep borrowing until you can't. Those are not really options, right? So the only option you have really is add in the revenue stream. So that's what this is about.
Oh, that's my alarm. Well, your alarm is on because the time is up, and I know that you have the great waiting on you. And we really want to thank you tonight, Ramin, because this was an absolutely fantastic. I think you get better and better every time. I'm not sure, but you know, I don't even know how to rate those calls anymore, because you seem to be just hitting this right out of the park. And tonight's call, I know a lot of us took a lot of notes, including myself, and you taught us the retention and distributor activity ratio. You've taken us back to basics, and I think that's the place to start. So I really want to thank you so much for your time and for your professionalism, and from giving it to us from the heart without holding back. Thank you, and thank you.
Stay forensic.
So let's stay forensic. And if you're on the call tonight, remember that definitely you have to be on the call again on Saturday. We have our training on Saturday. You got to be in on that. And there's something I'm missing. I think that's it. So stay forensic, and good night, good morning, and good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Well, thank you again, Ramin. See you guys on another forensic call. Stay forensic.
Ramin here.
Good night, everybody.
Speaking.